One early episode of Stargate Universe, titled Time, shocked audiences when it first aired in the fall of 2009. This episode is a time twister as Destiny's crew gate to a jungle planet and find one of their own Kino camera balls lying on the ground, full of footage from the first time that they were here. What is going on? As some of them watch the footage back on the ship, events on the planet begin to play out again. The same dreary rainstorm, vicious alien creatures, and a Stargate that begins to malfunction. It looks like everything is happening again. The end of the episode plays out like a cliffhanger without a part 2, and it left some viewers confused. What happens next? Is everyone going to die again? Well, Time actually has one more scene. A coda that was released as an online webisode. We're gonna watch it here. Stargate Universe gave the franchise writers a brand new sandbox to play in, with new characters and a new tone, and even critics of the show have to recognize that Time is a well-executed, high-concept hour of science fiction. But most fans probably don't know there is a bonus scene that never aired on television. And if you found the show on DVD or streaming, it's not there either. We'd wager that today most viewers have never seen the coda to this story, which features Brian J. Smith's Lieutenant Matthew Scott and David Blue's Eli Wallace, and it's officially canon. Let's recap what's going on in this episode before we take a look at the short. Time has a beautifully ambiguous end, as Lieutenant Scott falls to his knees in the rain and addresses the Kino recording device. He plans to throw the Kino through the Stargate, where he knows it will land in the past and be found by the crew again in the next loop. He knows he won't survive this time, but if he gives them enough information for the next time, perhaps they will.
Please believe me, you don't have much time. To act now, or you are all going to die.
The episode ends and the credits roll. It left viewers with enough information to figure out what will happen next. On the next loop, Destiny will find the new recording and watch Matt's message, and with more information than they had last time, they'll harvest the cure from the creatures and survive. But some said that it felt like the cliffhanger of a two-parter where the conclusion to the story never came. The good news is that SGU's producers anticipated how that ambiguity might land, so they wrote and filmed one more scene to connect the dots. The Kino webisode, titled New Kind of Crazy, streamed exclusively online at MGM's official Stargate website as a bonus webisode. MGM's Stargate site has been down for years, and this short was one of a handful of Kino episodes that were actually left off the DVD and Blu-ray releases. So it's safe to say that most fans today never saw it. Fortunately, it's on YouTube today, and you can watch it right now. Let's take a look.
Okay, this is a new kind of crazy. We just came back from a planet where we found these two Kinos near the gate. Both were out of power and their databanks were full. One had this message at the beginning.
If you found this, it's because a solar flare interfered with gate travel. And I managed to send this Kino back in time.
Seriously, both of these Kinos are actually from the future. Different timelines that haven't even happened yet. How awesome is that?
The recording shows some of us going to the planet and then getting attacked by the most disgusting creatures you've ever seen in your life and dying. It's gross. They burrow into you and then they just come bursting out.
All right, anyway, the thing is, apparently we all have a disease from the water that Colonel Young and I brought back from that ice planet. But in the future, we figured out that these creatures actually have some sort of healing properties.
So Colonel Young took a team through, including Lieutenant Scott here.
We were lucky as light out.
Yeah, and managed to capture a few of them before this whole solar flare thing happened.
You should really explain that whole thing.
You know what, actually, I have a better idea. Here, watch this.
A wormhole is essentially a shortcut through space-time that allows us to travel across great distances almost instantaneously. When a wormhole's trajectory passes too close to a star, however, a large enough solar flare can interfere with the time part of that equation, and in some cases, as shown here, it can actually cause the wormhole to loop back around to the same gate where it reconnects in either the past or the future.
That is mind-boggling.
Really? Seems simple enough to me.
So, anyway, TJ is working with the Venom right now and will hopefully be able to come up with some kind of cure before anybody gets too sick.
Dr. Volker and Chloe are already not feeling well.
All I can say is thank you to future Scott for sacrificing yourself to try to save us.
Well, it was nothing for me. Apparently, future me died pretty horribly, so I guess I have future me to thank too.
Fact is, a lot of us are starting to wonder if things are ever going to settle down around here. I mean, before all this happened, I thought that I was going to die of boredom. Now, a day without facing imminent death would be nice.
Amen to that.
If you want to see all 34 Kino shorts, look for the playlist linked in the video description. Time was written and directed by Robert C. Cooper, who co-created Stargate Universe with Brad Wright. He told Sci-Fi Now magazine that the episode all kind of gelled for me when I spun the ending and the way that the structure of the story was. There were some complaints that it was a reset to zero and that the characters didn't get to grow or learn anything, but I don't get that criticism. They still have the Kinos, and were able to observe everything that they went through. I think one of the most interesting dynamics in the episode was watching them watch themselves. In the 3-minute webisode, Matt and Eli, with an assist from Sergeant Riley, record a new Kino log reporting what happened after time faded to black. Our version of the characters found that second Kino, as well as the first one from the first loop, with Matt's recording from the end of the episode. This gave them enough information and enough time to find the cure for the parasite in their drinking water and avoid their grim fate. Lieutenant Scott says in the webisode that this time they went to the planet in the daytime and captured some of the creatures. It also gives Sergeant Riley, played by Haig Sutherland, a chance to do a quick debrief on how time travel works in the Stargate universe, for those who maybe haven't watched SG-1 or Atlantis and didn't pick up on the details during this episode. In a nutshell, if a wormhole happens to pass too close to an active solar flare, it gets bent back on itself and shifted forward or backward in time. That's why the Kino that is thrown through the fritzing Stargate on the jungle planet lands on the same jungle planet in the past, along with Rush. Yeah, that's his own skull he found. Cooper was right. The episode didn't really need this small piece of denouement. The shock ending is engaging, prompting the viewer to puzzle out what has to come next as the credits roll. It's a bold creative choice, one that demonstrated how the new show would push the narrative envelope and take risks. Tell us in the comments what you think of Time and that memorable ending. Had you seen New Kind of Crazy before now? And is the coda better left out of the finished episode? Hit subscribe if you want to see more Stargate on YouTube, and head over to our website at gateworld.net to explore more about SGU and this episode. Thanks for watching.